couple weeks ago, I shared something really personal here on my YouTube channel about my health journey. In that video, I made a big change, here's why. I opened up about some of the big changes I've made recently and why I made them. I'll link that video up here and down in the description below in case you haven't seen it yet. And since sharing that video, I've received so many kind emails and comments from you, full of encouragement, support, and messages telling me how much it helped to hear that you weren't alone in this stage of life. So naturally, a lot of you have been asking, what actually changed after you made those big changes? I want to start by saying this. I'm not here to just share pain. I want to share possibility. This follow-up video isn't about a dramatic transformation or highlighting a perfect routine. What this video is actually about is what shifted quietly behind the scenes when I decided to stop fighting with my body and started working with it instead. I want to be really clear what this video is and what it's not. This is not a progress update. This is not a before and after photo. And this is definitely not a here's my exact routine so you should copy it kind of video. I wanted this video to be a grounded check-in with you to let you know what actually changed after I made all of those big changes. And what has really changed for me so far along my health journey has been my energy, mindset, consistency, and confidence. These are the kind of changes that don't happen overnight, but the kind of changes that build slowly and eventually stick. In my previous video, I talked about realizing how I couldn't continue living or training the way I always had. If I wanted to feel healthy, energized, and continue doing the things I love, like hiking and backpacking, something needed to change. So I want to clearly recap the actual changes I've made because this wasn't about doing everything at once or chasing perfection. It was about building habits that support my body during this season of life. I'll break this down into 4 areas: movement, food, recovery, and support. Movement was one of the first things I changed, but not in an extreme way. I started going to the gym 3 times a week for strength training and cardio with the goal of building strength and endurance instead of pushing myself into exhaustion. I also added yoga once or twice a week on my recovery days and take myself on at least 1 intentional training hike each week. Nothing epic, just consistent time on my feet with some elevation. On top of that, I aim to walk at least 10,000 steps a day. I don't hit that number every single day, but walking has become a really accessible way for me to stay moving, especially during the winter. What mattered most here wasn't intensity. It was choosing movement I could actually return to. Another big shift I made was around food. I started eating mostly whole foods at home instead of going out to eat all the time. I spend 1 day a week meal prepping 3 to 4 meals so that I always have healthy, easy options ready. This one habit alone has helped remove so much decision fatigue. Instead of grabbing something on the go or ordering delivery, I already have meals waiting for me whenever I'm hungry. It's also been easier on my wallet, which honestly feels like a bonus win. What mattered most wasn't eating perfectly, it was removing the friction. Recovery has become just as important as movement for me. I made a conscious effort to drink more water throughout the day. My goal is 4 32-ounce bottles daily, and that alone has made a noticeable difference. I used to get chronic headaches, and since increasing my water intake, I haven't had a single one. I've also been more mindful about my evenings, spending less time on my computer, reading before bed, and trying to get at least 8 hours of sleep whenever I can. That doesn't happen every night, but when it does, I feel refreshed instead of feeling like I'm running on fumes. What mattered most wasn't doing more. It was finally letting my body recover. And there's one more change I want to share, carefully and intentionally. Under the guidance of my doctor and healthcare team, I started hormone replacement therapy. I want to be very clear, this is not medical advice, and it's not something I decided casually or on my own. For me, this was about getting support during a phase of life where my hormones were clearly shifting and where lifestyle changes alone weren't fully addressing how I felt. I don't see HRT as a fix or a shortcut. I see it as support. It's one piece of a much bigger picture. And I share this because I know a lot of women are quietly navigating similar decisions, and I want you to know that you're not alone. What mattered most wasn't fixing my body, it was finally supporting it. Now, even though I've made some really big changes and have adapted quite a few healthy habits into my daily routine, real life still happens. And me and my new healthy habit routine are far from perfect. For example, during the first week of January, I went on 2 trips back to back. For the first trip, I spent a couple of days up in the mountains here in Montana with a group of friends. For my second trip, I flew down to Southern California and met my dad for an epic desert road trip for a few days. And during both of those trips, I didn't go to the gym, I didn't meal prep, I ate out a lot, and I didn't always sleep 8 hours each night. My routine was completely thrown off. But here's the difference this time. When I got home, I didn't spiral out of control. I didn't feel guilty. I didn't think, well, I blew it and wanted to go back to my old ways. Instead, once I got back home, I went right back into my routine. I flew home late Friday night and was back in the gym on Saturday morning. I started hitting my daily steps again. I jumped back into meal prepping for the week. This alone was such a huge change for me, a really big one. So what has actually changed since I've made all of these big changes? The first thing I noticed was my energy, and not in a dramatic, over-caffeinated kind of way. I don't feel wired anymore. I don't feel completely depleted either. I feel steady. I wake up with enough energy to move through my day, and I don't crash in the afternoon the way I used to. And when it's time to rest, my body actually feels ready to rest. And that alone has been a huge shift for me. The next thing I noticed was my mindset. I stopped seeing my health as something to conquer or fix or push through. Instead, I started seeing it as something to support. That shift has changed everything. I'm no longer asking, how hard can I push today? Now I'm asking, what does my body actually need right now? And surprisingly, when I started listening to my body instead of forcing it, my body responded pretty positively. Then came consistency. Not perfection, not intensity, not all or nothing, just showing up for myself over and over and over again. Going to the gym even on days when I don't feel like it, getting my steps in on days when my motivation is low, coming back to my routine after traveling instead of letting 1 week turn into 1 month. That's actually why walking has become such a big part of my routine lately. It's simple, it's accessible, and it reinforces the identity I'm building for myself as someone who moves consistently, even during the winter. And I think maybe the biggest change of all has been my confidence. Not confidence in how I look, but feeling confident in my body again. I finally feel like I'm working with my body instead of against it. Things feel more supported now, physically, mentally, and emotionally. I still show up, I still put in the effort, but it no longer feels like a constant uphill battle. And that has been everything. And this is why all of this matters so much to me. I don't want to just survive the winter anymore. I don't want to spend months feeling tired, unmotivated, or disconnected from my body, only to panic in the spring and have to rebuild everything from scratch. I want to thrive. I want to feel strong. I want my energy back. I want to live a longer, happier, healthier life. And I want to keep doing the outdoor adventures I love, hiking, backpacking, traveling, without feeling like my body is holding me back. I want to step into each season feeling supported, not depleted. And the truth is, this journey hasn't been perfect. I've had weeks where travel threw me off, days where motivation was low, moments where old habits tried to creep back in. But what I've built over the last 3 months is sustainable. And for this phase of my life, sustainability matters more to me than anything else. If this video resonated with you, I'd love to know, what's one habit you're trying to be more consistent with right now? Tell me down in the comments below. And if you're going through something similar in your own health or life right now, I want you to hear this. You're not broken, you're not behind, and this is not the end of your adventures. It might actually be the beginning of doing things differently, with more support, more intention, and a little more compassion for yourself. That's exactly what I focus on inside the Confident Solo Female Backpacker system. It's not just about backpacking skills. It's about feeling strong, capable, and confident in your body and in your decisions both on trail and in everyday life. If you're curious to learn more about the program, you can find all the details linked down in the description below. And whether or not that's right for you right now, I just want you to know this. If you're in a season of change, I see you, and I'm really glad you're here. If you found this video helpful, make sure to hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel for new videos each week about hiking, backpacking, and building confidence for your outdoor adventures. And hit the bell icon to get notified each time new videos are posted. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Happy trails and keep on trucking.